Hi, this is Naroki5. I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Pill Nation Hangout number 368. Just to giving you a heads up, V will be joining us in about 10-15 minutes. I am your host, and actually probably a little bit braver than normal host, Naroki5, with me tonight. And strangely enough, I don't really feel like making any jokes right now for a number of reasons. Rusin, introduce yourself.
I'll happily take the reprieve from the usual repertoire of shots at me. So, Nurki's got a lot on his mind. So, but once he's load his load and spurt out as he needs to.
The other two were actually one of them's kind of dark but the last one's kind of fun. Okay, right, so.
Okay. Disclaimer, I have no idea. I know the first topic. I don't know what the other two are, so let's see.
The other one's definitely fun. It's definitely in the vein of the Red Pill Nation Hangout, because there's nothing like talking about women's bodies and boobs and butts and all of those other things, getting red-blooded, massively male, whilst at the same time giving you deep political insult into the world around us. So anyway, and for those of you who don't know, I did finally go and look. I am going to start posting back up at Patreon. Subscribe Star has still not gotten back to me. I'm almost tempted to just cancel that account and start up again to find out what the fuck the problem is. And yeah, I am a little bit angry tonight, and it's not just about a certain incident that happened a few days ago, but we will get into that. I am at YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, MGTOW TV, Bradion. I'm also at Facebook, Minds, MeWe, Gab, TLB Talks, and Getter, although I haven't actually posted up there for a while. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff on my mind tonight. Some of it is kind of interesting, and some of it isn't. Now, let's just get right into the first topic here. I'm not going to go into all the details, and I'm not going to mention the individual who was involved in this. All I'm going to say is to this person is that I have saved the entire conversation. I have posted, including the response. If you do somehow manage to find me, it will have been because you would have had to have gone specifically looking for me, which means that you were attempting to dox me on purpose. I have answered everything. I answered everything that you threw at me. You didn't answer a single thing that I said to you. And the course of the discussion, I definitely didn't appreciate how you were acting or how you were responding. And my conscience, by the way, is absolutely clear on the way I responded to you. All right. And yeah, there was another person that was there that was trying to mediate, and he probably spent a good solid hour trying to talk and listening to me vent after the event took place. I definitely didn't appreciate how you tried the move that you tried to pull on me. And all I'm going to say about that particular issue, because I am probably now, because of your actions, I am going to have to literally go and do the food court thing in the city I live in and possibly down in Calgary now, just to call your bluff. That's really all I got to say about this. Do it as you will. If you're gonna do a hit video on me, be my guest. Anybody who actually asks me, I have all the receipts. Just letting you know. And with that, I am done with that. Unless Rearson wants to throw in anything, which I don't think he does, and then we'll get on with the second additional tiny interesting piece of information that I discovered.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is that this is your fight. I'm not dragged into it. I'll be supportive of you, my friend, but unless I have to get involved with it directly, I'm not going to. So,
well, it's the ball's in his court. That's all I'm going to say. Ball is in his court. I'm after I made this response. That's it. I'm done. I'm not gonna give this guy any more time and space in my head. I might have a discussion with V after the show about him, but that's basically it. So the other interesting thing, and I do believe I did send this to you, but somebody actually, and I am going to post the video up just so that everybody can have a look. Somebody took a look at the Nickelodeon logo and he overlaid it on top of Epstein.
Yeah, so there's the Nickelodeon logo, right? And like the perspective I've got, I don't have a full top down, but you can almost see there's that little nub out there.
I think it's just the way that the camera is taking this picture. If you look at a direct bird's eye satellite view of Epstein Island, I mean, it's pretty much the Nickelodeon logo.
The parallels are, well, and I'm going to, this is what I will say about this, and then I will let Rearson have his say. When this first started out with Pizzagate, it was like, yeah, well, whatever, right? Space aliens steal my socks to fuel their ship kind of thing, right? When the second time came around about the Trudeau Foundation, which is something that Rearson brought to my attention, it was sort of like, okay, coincidence, it's a coincidence. This could have just happened by coincidence or whatever. And then you get to Balenciaga. And when we covered Balenciaga and we saw this same pattern appearing again, where you've got shit in the fucking background that looks seriously like there's an underground pedophile cult around somewhere, at that point it's like, especially given the way the photos were, the photos themselves didn't look all that incriminating. It wasn't until you started going into the background and started looking around, which, by the way, is something that you had to do with both Pizzagate and the Trudeau Foundation ahead of time. So now we get into the Nickelodeon symbol and its eerie similarity in shape to Epstein Island. And at this point, it's sort of like, okay, now I'm seeing this particular pattern of behavior repeating itself over and over and over and over and over again. At what point? And this goes into this. It actually ties in with the first dude. At what point do you have to start looking at it all? Because what's happened with Gamergate is that it's brought out the anti-white racism stuff, and brought it out into the light of day in a way that alt media is noticing, and there's a lot more people now paying attention, which is something that didn't happen with the first Gamergate. But I won't get into that right now. the whole situation with this Nickelodeon logo. Yeah. Could it be a coincidence? Yeah. Could it be a stretch? There's a lot of people when they saw this that were going, yeah, it's a stretch. And it's like, yeah, it would be a stretch if it was just the only thing, but it's not the only thing, right? And no, it's a little bit too much. Also, by the way, having seen An Open Secret and having seen having heard some of the stuff about Hollywood and pedophilia, it just like, it's not one thing, it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And for the individuals, because I always end up dealing with people every once in a while. Some people go, well, why are you always talking about pedophiles all the time? I mean, I got to point something out. When I first started this show, right, I was not, and Rearson can back me up on this, I was not we did not cover a lot of pedophiles at the beginning of this show when we first started. Right? What I can tell you about this particular show, though, is that they just kept popping up at inopportune places and at inopportune times. And the same pattern keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. Now, and the question that I'm being forced, that I had to ask myself is that, okay, how much smoke do I want to ignore before I have to admit that there's a fire? If you don't want to admit that there's a pedophile problem, that's on you, right? Like, how many coincidences does it take before you have to start to go, because it's like each one is a small percentage of a chance. But then as they accumulate, the chances of it just being a coincidence and an actual pattern and then an actual something that's going on behind the scene, each time you get one, they pile up. Just like the whole thing with anti-white racism. You can dismiss one, but when you start getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of them, it's like, no, it's not something that's just in your head. Like, it's a legit thing. And how many times do you have to see this over and over and over and over again before you start before it stops being a coincidence? And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rearson.
Don't want to say that I've been ahead of the curve on this one for you, my friend, but I've been ahead of the curve on this one. I'll be hard pressed to find it, but there was a guy that apparently made a short. Allegedly. He breaks into a home and there's a kid sleeping on the couch and he proceeds to take his pants off. The implication is quite clear what's going to happen. That individual, again, I don't know the name, so I apologize for not being able to present any evidence, but allegedly he ended up being a writer within, I don't know if it was Nickelodeon per se, but someone scooped him up pretty damn fast. Do you remember the show Head of the Class?
Yes.
Remember that fat kid, the fat high schooler? Dan
Schroeder. Yeah, there was just I didn't have space to put him in this particular because as you can see, 368 is pretty crowded. Exactly. I didn't have space to put him in there. I might put him in 369 if 369 ends up being a slow week. But I already had to move something from 68 to 69. I had to move one topic already. So
yeah. So Schneider's name has been thrown about for being in the Kitty Diddler crowd, allegedly. And all things being equal, nothing would surprise me at this point anymore because it really doesn't. Shocker, I know.
Well, I mean, I will throw in something about that. He was one of the producers. He was the main producer on iCarly. What the hell is the name of that actress who was on iCarly, the lead actress?
Find out here.
iCarly cast.
Miranda Cosgrove.
Miranda Cosgrove. Actually, she's actually still a pretty decent looking. She's a decent looking woman, right? You know, when the guy when Dan Schneider retired, and there were a whole bunch of people who celebrated it, Miranda Cosgrove was not one of the people there. Neither was Amanda Bynes, by the way. You know,
okay.
And Miranda Cosgrove has been uniquely quiet about the stuff that was going on. Now, you know, we don't want to get too much into this because we still have one other topic that we want to talk about. But yeah, the relationship between Dan Schneider and Miranda Cosgrove was definitely a little bit on the frosty side. Now, I'm not going to speculate anymore. Miranda Cosgrove has not gone public. In fact, she hasn't really said anything about it at all. I'm going to imagine she probably will at some point. But yeah, the whole thing with Nickelodeon just cannot just be dismissed out of hand. Especially given some of the other stuff that has come out. And we're going to be covering something up to that effect tonight with P. Diddy and Cuba Gooding Jr. Two guys, by the way, who were tied into, who have allegedly got ties to Epstein. But that will, when we actually get into the show proper, we'll do. This is topic 0. Yeah,
we can also throw Prince Harry into that because his name's been bandied about now with a $30 million lawsuit. So
yeah, well, no, I'm just talking about the two guys that have been arrested. Like, I'm not going to get into fucking Harry.
Okay. All right. Well.
All right. So.
Okay. Time will tell. All right. And
all right.
The last topic.
And the last topic, and this one's a fun one. Allegedly, Ben Shapiro. It's apparently Sydney. When we talked about boobs and Sydney Sweeney, Ben Shapiro had a rather juicy take, and his juicy take was, "My sister's boobs have done more to end woke culture than a Hollywood harlot like Sydney Sweeney does." Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. I have seen photos of Abigail Shapiro. To quote somebody who actually responded on Instagram about this, he didn't use the word boobs, he used Jewbs, but yeah, Abigail Shapiro. Yeah, Motorboat City, both of them. I don't know which one actually has done more to end woke culture. I do know that, if you want to actually fact check that one, just think about all the fun you're going to have trying to find out. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Which one has done more to end woke culture? Sydney Sweeney's boobs or Abigail Shapiro's Jewbs boobs? Discuss. Rearson.
Well, if I want to see a nice pair of Jewbs, I can always watch Brandy Love. There's about all I would need right there. Or Hartley, or actually those are the only two that I'm aware of that are Jewish that were in the porn industry.
Jenna Jameson's also Jewish, by the way. A lot of people don't know about that one.
Really? I had no idea.
Huh. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's one who was a personal favorite of mine back in the 80s named Busty Bell. Redhead, massive rack, did some hardcore stuff. Her actual real name was Tracy Prager. Yeah, she was. There are a lot of people of Jewish descent. in the porn industry, but then again, there's a lot of people with Jewish. It's one of the Hollywood factions. So yeah, let's. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's. So yeah, boobs or Jewbs. Just think about all the fun you're going to have, and try not to wear out your forearm muscles too much while you're thinking about it. But yeah, which one has done more to? Which one has done more to end wokeness?
Oh, Pete, did you just join us?
He did?
Oh no,
no, he's not in yet.
I thought I heard him. Okay, so we got Ron Jeremy. Oh, James Dean, that's interesting. Nina Hartley mentioned her. Joanna Angel, and she's got the nose. Michael Lucas, no idea. Naomi, no idea. Seymour Butts, well, yeah, that guy's more of a producer, but yeah, that's about it. And all of that is on the Times of Israel. Good God.
All right. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. So the actual legit topics tonight. Topic number 1, Jordan Peterson OWNS Destiny in his interview. Well, I will get into that when I get into that. Destiny also gets owned on Piers Morgan. Yeah. Yes, he did get there. There were definitely, Destiny didn't score a win, but I mean, I will get into that when we get into that. Topic number 2, Francis Scott Key Bridge collapses after being hit by a freighter. That was that bridge that got hit in Baltimore. Topic number 3, P. Diddy arrested on human trafficking charges. Cuba Gooding Jr. also arrested. Then we've got the sweet baby content. This stuff is really good. Black girl gamer threatens lawsuits on anyone who reports on their racism and then proceeds to bully a small target. Oh, that one was just really interesting. Topic number B, Irena Pereira at Unleashed Games. No white characters in game, and she gets owned for it. And then topic C on this one, Xbox executive Kelly Lombardi gets owned for posting easily debunked tweet about racism in games. Oh, all 3 of those are extra special. Topic number 5, things just keep getting worse for Planet Fitness. Topic number 6, smug TikTok star Lionel Romano deported for telling people to squat in American homes. If you don't know who that guy is, well, when I get to him, we'll get to him. And topic number 7, YouTube banning memes and turned over information on people who simply watched a crypto video. It's a little bit, it kind of falls into the gray area. Now, there is an 8th topic, which is a bunch of transgender stuff. I had to move that to the next week. I had to move that to next Sunday, mostly because one of the things that Joe Biden did, and no word of a lie, this is what he did. He declared today, Easter Sunday, by the way, today, he declared today Transgender Awareness Day, the same day as Easter Sunday. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that one. Yeah, well, I had to move that one to 369 because it actually happened. Officially, it actually happened today, but there's another couple of topics that happened this weekend. We just don't have the time or the space. So with that out of the way, let's get into the first topic.
I'm not going to tell you that every model is perfect.
They're not
right
perfect.
Now, sure, but right now we're like standing in traffic with our eyes closed saying the car hasn't hit me yet, so I don't think there's any coming.
Jordan is obviously, let's say, suspect about climate change, the arguments behind climate change, and the policies that the people pushing the climate change agenda actually have. Take a look.
I'm talking about the record temperatures that have been declared for like the past 5 years that have also increased with the concentration of parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that every model is perfect.
They're
but
not
right now,
perfect.
sure, but right now we're like standing in traffic with our eyes closed saying the car hasn't hit me yet, so I don't think there's any coming. I think it's pretty undeniable at this point that there is an impact on climate across the planet. I
think that's highly deniable. We have no idea what the impact is from. We don't know where the carbon dioxide is from. We can't measure the warming of the oceans. We have terrible temperature records going back 100 years. Almost all the terrestrial temperature detection sites were first put outside urban areas, and then and then you have to correct. Then you have to correct for the movement of the urban areas, and then you introduce an error parameter that's larger than the purported increase in temperature that you're planning to measure. This isn't data. This is guess, and there's something weird underneath it. There's something weird that isn't oriented well towards human beings underneath it. It has this guise of compassion. Oh, we're going to save the poor in the future. It's like that's what the bloody communists said. And they killed a lot of people doing it. And we're walking down that same road now with this insistence that, you know, we're so compassionate that we care about the poor 100 years from now. And if we have to wipe out several 100 million of them now, well, that's a small price to pay for the future utopia. And we've heard that sort of thing before. And the alternative to that is to stop having global level elites plot out a utopian future or even an anti-dystopian future. And that's exactly what's happening now with organizations like the WEF.
Okay, so we're going to show you a couple other clips of this. Now, obviously, I tend to lean more on the Jordan side of this. It's like these people who haven't been able to solve many problems, only if we would give them more control of our lives, only if we would eat certain things, only if we would drive less and fly less and all of these things, could then they fix the world? And it's like, what sits beneath that? That's why he's making that connection to communism, right? People, humans are always the problem in these utopian desires, right? These utopian systems of control. So they went a little further on that, and Jordan started talking about how climate activists actually, through using compassionate responsibility, they enact something quite horrible.
The problem is, you know, once you conjure up a climate apocalypse and you make the case that there's an impending disaster that's delayed, and you might say, well, delayed how long? And the response would be, well, we're not sure, but it's likely to occur in the next 100 or so years, which is pretty inaccurate. You now have a universal get out of jail card that can be utilized extremely well by power mad psychopaths. And they will absolutely do that, because power mad psychopaths use whatever they can to further their cause.
The point of it is that this is the road to hell they drag us down. Oh, in 100 years, something might happen. Give up your control of your life one way or another. We need more of your tax money for our Green New Deal, et cetera, right? We've seen this over and over again.
Okay, so one of the things you have to pay attention to when you're watching anything from a certain point of view is, for instance, a lot of the alt media, because Destiny is such a dishonest fucking prick, and I mean, that is legitimately true. He is such a dishonest prick that the videos that were made about the Jordan Peterson interview and about the Piers Anthony appearance that he had 2 or 3 weeks earlier claim that he got absolutely owned. Now, when you actually go and listen to the content, both the Piers Morgan content and the Jordan Peterson content, my take on that is, yeah, there was a lot of points where Destiny said stuff that just caused me to facepalm. Jordan Peterson, and this is something I think Destiny has kind of reached his high water mark, and I think he's probably, this is just a suspicion and an opinion. I think he's on his way down, because, like, he's reached a point now where he can't get in. This is going to happen. This is something that's going to happen to me as well. Like the ideas that he's pushing and the concepts that he's pushing don't hold up to actual scrutiny when he has to be on a format. Like, for instance, he's been on Fresh and Fit, he's been on whatever, right? He's been on shows where he's had long periods of time to get his stuff across, right? And he's had time, and he very clearly, and I will say this about Destiny, he does do his research. It is very unfortunate for Destiny that he does his research in a way that is specifically and intentionally dishonest and misleading. In both the Jordan Peterson and more Piers Morgan appearances, he got owned on the vaccines for good reason. And that's the point, and you'll notice in both of them from the highlights. Yeah, you'll notice that in both cases, when it came to the vaccines, he got absolutely wrecked. The other stuff, not so much. Like, neither one of these appearances involved men's issues. I am going to say that Destiny definitely dots his I's and crosses his T's and does his research and brings his notepad along with him so that he'll be able to form his thoughts correctively and cohersively. And he does have a bit of an encyclopedic memory for remembering facts, which it makes him a very good debater. I will say this about both the Peterson interview and his appearance on Piers Morgan. In neither case did Destiny actually score a hit. The only way you can legitimately say that Destiny actually scored a hit is if you basically have to like take 3 steps to the left, do a ballerina twirl, and then cluck like a chicken to kind of sort of make it look like it is. And of course, I mean, I haven't gone over and I haven't seen the other side's reaction to this, although there really hasn't been a lot. And this kind of indicates to me that there was he did lose this, because the left, like his side of the aisle, does not have a lot of stuff on their side that they can kind of twist around to make it look like Destiny won. Because Destiny, in neither one of these appearances, actually scored any type of a hit, which is exactly what I figured. And then, of course, what's going to happen, too, is that, you know, on television or on a show like The Daily Wire, where your time is limited, right? Like, you know, you don't have like 10, 15 minutes to layer on stuff, right? And I mean, if I ever actually, which by the way, I'm probably never going to do, but I mean, if I ever have to enter into the space with Destiny, you know, I'm going to have to make sure I dot my I's and cross my T's and do my research on him before I go in. Because I mean, it's very obvious based upon what I see that Destiny does his research, and then he does a Dave Futrell where he will twist the facts around for it to equate to something else, and he'll change the topic, and he'll misdirect, and he'll twist the meaning of stuff around, and he engages in all of this stuff, and he does it way better than basically anybody else in that platform. Again, though, and this is all I'm going to say about this before I turn it over to Rierson here. I think it's very important that Destiny be given as much exposure as humanly possible. Destiny's dishonesty and Destiny's tactics and Destiny's lies and misrepresentations and twisting of facts and whatever, all of that stuff disappears in sunlight. You can throw, for instance, I might get some facts wrong. I might have incorrect information from time to time. But I mean, you know, in particular when it comes to the manosphere, I know what the hell I'm talking about. And so does, by the way, so do guys like Rollo Tomasi and a couple of other guys, right? Sandman being another one, right? Right. You can throw as much light on me as you want to. Like my stuff holds up, which, by the way, is why individuals, in particular when it comes, say, to the manosphere, why they want to focus on Andrew Tate and what he did, as opposed to the manosphere and the issue that the manosphere is bringing up. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rearson.
I watched it, and it felt like it came down to a father not necessarily scolding a child, but close enough to it. Some little know-it-all punk who I don't know. He still seems to have some very strong ideologies to him, but his life of living in reality seems to be very ungrounded. I can't really say it any other way. I'm kind of disappointed that Peterson didn't bring up the carbon tax that's coming into effect. And this whole idea, well, then again, too, I mean, in terms of a big thing that came through with all of that was his stance on the environment and whatever else. And it's like, it's one of those things of it being like, well, Al Gore said that there won't be any ice on Kilimanjaro. Well, sure as shit stinks. Guess what? It's there. And I don't think it's really changed all that much. I mean, and then he's also been quite vocally being pro-vax. I'm thinking to myself, dude, no, I will fully admit that the change in back in the day when Hiroki and I were young, the right was all over censorship and some music that was out there. Yeah, it was objectionable. It was questionable. I never cared for rap. I don't remember. Ice Cube was not Ice Cube. Although he is one of them. Ice-T, was that the one? I mean, they had some very, very, very colorful language in their music, but so did Guns N' Roses, and that also had the parental advisory sticker slapped on it. And I don't know why the fuck I brought. Oh no, that's right. And I bring this up because the right has gone from being a bunch of control freaks now to being more libertarian in nature. Less government. Don't tread on me. Just what I do in my personal time is mine. Leave me the fuck alone. And it's the left that's now imposing themselves on what they think is right for society. And somewhere in the middle would be the ideal. But I think at the end of the day, if you get enough people on the left that would agree in essence with, well, but then again, anybody that's right of Marx is considered far right. So being going to be hyperbolic. Anyway, I am genuinely hoping that we don't have another topic, that we don't have to talk about this minor to functionally autistic individual. If he isn't, he seems to be. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, V. I'll just let me get through my little spiel, and then we'll have the floor over to you. And we're on the first topic, Jordan Peterson owning Destiny's interview. Those gets owned by Piers Morgan. So I'll admit I actually didn't see anything. I didn't see the exchange between Morgan and Destiny, and Piers Morgan, in my opinion, he's questionable as fuck. I mean, he's mainstream, so that already puts him in the category, in my eyes anyway, of being, well, as I said, questionable. Can't trust him. And really all that he ended up doing by being on Morgan's show is to elevate his status or to get more visibility. And hopefully people that are going to tune into him are going to realize that, well, either you're going to be on the left and you're going to agree with them, or you're going to be on the right, or shall we say centrist, and kind of going, you're a fucking idiot. So, and I still think he's not that he's a fucking idiot, but he's got his ideologies, but he's not living in a practical world. And he's isolated with Lord knows how much his actual net worth is. And I mean, no different than Hassan Biker. But we'll leave that douchebag alone as well, too. So you got nothing more to say on this one, V? Introduce yourself, if I may be so bold. Actually, I'm done. I'll let Naroki take over from this, and V can have the same.
Okay, hey, welcome aboard, V. I need you to stick around at the end of the show because I need to ask you a couple things. Yeah, introduce yourself. And the topic number one is Jordan Peterson owns Destiny, and his interview in Destiny also got owned on Piers Morgan a couple weeks earlier. So, Destiny, introduce yourself and then comment on the first topic.
Yes. I am V, host of the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show, a director and promoter of TLBTalk.com, Freedom of Speech Social Network. Check it out if you're not there. And actually, we can go ahead and go to the next topic. If you guys like.
Okay, all right, because Rearson's got some laundry to go pick up. But anyway, yeah, okay, well, you'll get on to the next topic then. All right, so the next topic, and this one is, well, there was some weird thing that happened. What ended up happening is that this freighter ended up running into this bridge in Baltimore Harbor. 6 people died, but the bridge just absolutely and totally collapsed. Now, I have seen video of what occurred. Now, what appeared to happen is that, from what I've seen, the bridge, the boat just went completely black for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then all of the systems powered up, and then it made a straight beeline for the bridge. Now, I've listened to a few people that have commented on this. Now, is there a type of mechanical failure or computer systems failure that could cause this particular type of a situation? Yes. Is there a mechanical failure that could cause this particular type of situation? Yes, the anchor could not. Maybe they couldn't pull the anchor up, and the anchor kind of swung them into the bridge because the engine wouldn't turn off. It was very from what it looks like, and they haven't come out with an official explanation, because I mean the investigation is ongoing. They're saying that basically something happened on the ship that caused it to short down or malfunction. They don't know what it was. Now, here's the issue, because of the way it happened. The boat powered down for a minute or two, and then it powered back up, and then it headed straight for the bridge. And it didn't just head straight for the bridge, it headed right and hit directly at the center supporting strut. Now, there were people who claimed that the bridge was maybe blown up ahead of time. Again, there's only visual of it. There's not audio of the event. What I can tell you though is that when the moment the bridge got hit, there are lights on the bridge, and all the lights blew out, which can kind of make it look like there was explosions. I have heard indications in a few quarters that maybe the boat itself was a target of a terrorist attack, and somebody hacked into the information in the boat and intentionally steered the boat into the bridge. Now, again, right, it's a kind of a stretch in it, and I'm like, this is the issue, is because there's been because it's not one of those this then that type of scenario. It may have been a combination of things going wrong that caused this to happen. It's usually, if it doesn't appear to be a smoking gun, and nobody wants to place the blame on anybody right now because they're not exactly sure what happened on the boat, except that for a very brief time, all the power went off on the boat, on the freighter. Because of what is going on around this, you are getting a lot of, I'm not going to call it conspiracy, but you're getting a lot of the alt-net chatter about an act of terrorism, that this was a black swan event, that the boat was hacked, that the computer system on the boat was hacked, or it was maybe sabotaged on board the ship, because it talked about possibly it being an attack, an act of overt terrorism, because apparently this was a foreign crew who was operating the ship. There's probably, based upon, because I mean, I work in an industry where they practically ram fucking safety down there. I literally have something called an FLHA that I gotta fill out every day, and yeah, I do have to fill out one every single day to quote unquote think about safety. And yeah, they monitor the fuck out of safety, right? Like, the reason, and it's not because they're being altruistic because they want to save lives, it's because safety issues can be very costly insurance-wise and for companies if something goes wrong. So they're very particular. There's an entire, in most industries now, like there's like literal jobs where you're a safety inspector. And some of these safety inspectors can get really fucking annoying. Sometimes, and it does reduce accidents. I am not sure exactly what happened here, and we haven't been told exactly what happens here. Could it have been an attack? Could it have been an act of terrorism? Maybe. Was it a black swan event? Well, if it's a black swan event, I don't think a black swan event would kill 6 people. Was the ship hacked and then driven right into the central supporting pillar of the bridge? Yeah, that's a possibility. But here's another possibility, and this is something that I'm going to be leaning towards unless I hear news of a different sort, and that is, and this is true, because I'm dealing with my kitchen sink right now. I mean, I don't have any water in my kitchen sink right now. Sometimes things just break down. Sometimes accidents just happen. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to aircast my speakers through Bluetooth. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what to say. I know there's a lot of memes being made. There's a lot of clowns out there not understanding how maritime and nautical engineering actually works when it's in the water, dynamics. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Was there anybody hurt at all?
6 people died, 2 people rescued. The bridge has to be completely rebuilt.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's why a lot of people don't understand. They say, oh, it only hit, one part of it. It only hit one pillar. It only hit. If I could crack you in the knee, you're going down. Like all of you, your whole body, you're going down. So I mean, structural marvels these things may be, but very unstable for the actual mass that it has to be and what it has to hold every day. So I mean, people can talk trash all they want to, but I don't know. It's a tragedy like any other. People need to grow up. I mean, even the submarine disaster, that didn't catch on as quickly as this did, as far as memes and that sort of stuff is concerned. I don't know. I think it's childish. I mean, I guess it's a long ways from what we felt when 9/11 happened. I don't know. We're just getting desensitized. Anyways, I have no real agenda on this one, so I'll pass it on to Harrison.
Rearson, are you back yet? Yeah, oh, there you are. Yes, you're back.
Yep, yeah. So the definition of a black swan event is something that is not supposed to happen or highly likely to happen. This, by definition, actually is a black swan event. You do. My apologies for having been away to retrieve my laundry, Naroki, but you are aware that the Baltimore port and that bridge has effectively crippled at least the northern half of the northwestern quadrant, shall we say, of the U.S. because that bridge was used to transport liquid natural gas or diesel or other things that they could basically not go through any tunnels.
It slowed things down. It didn't cripple. It slowed things down a little bit. I'm going to have to assume they had alt routes planned. But yeah, there was going to be some type of a disruption from that bridge going down, obviously. Black Swan. What kind of? I mean, yeah, it's not a big enough economic impact, and there's not enough people that died in that event for it to be that significant. And again, right? This is the reason, by the way, I stopped watching Devin Steck from Black Pill, because like everything with Devin Steck was done on purpose, and it was like, well, no, Devin, I mean, have you seen how dumb academics can get, right? Like, yeah, would an academic, for instance, this is the thing that actually did it in with me with Devin Steck, the Killer Bee situation. What ended up happening is he had some idiot intern down in Sao Paulo remove the queen bee barriers at a time when the queen bees were about to pollinate and breed, and all the queen bees got out, which is why we have the Africanized bee problem down in Central America now, right? It was an accident. Like somebody did something very stupid, right? Like people can be phenomenally stupid. So yeah, would somebody have been dumb enough to mess with the systems on the boat, cause the boat to black out, and then come back online and then do what it did? Yeah, we don't know for sure though. And the disruption from this isn't large enough, at least in my mind, to make it qualify as a black swan event. That's just me though.
I'll use the phrase not, or I'll add the two words not yet. I'm honestly not familiar with the port system in the US. Hell, I'm not even really familiar with the port system here that we have in Canada. I know that Montreal is big, Halifax and Toronto, I expect would be big. All those three points in eastern and maritime provinces of Canada. But well, I mean, they're already saying that the price of chocolate is going to go through the roof. It's going to be like, apparently, it's going to be like $9,000 a ton. Apparently, it's about $4,000 a ton. I don't know.
Well, I can say I don't know the full economic impact. It's just not like taking down one bridge is not really, it's just not that. I mean, yeah, there is some economic impact, but it's not going to be something that's going to cause the economy to collapse.
It may not collapse, but it could certainly make things much more unbearable to what's already happening as it is. This is something that's going to require time to see how the impact is how that's going to roll out. I don't know, but I'm honestly expecting the worst, really. Well, not the worst in the sense that things are going to shut down, but I won't be surprised to hear about the cost of fuel having to go up, or the very least, what the U.S. military had to do when West Berlin was cut off, and the resources that they were dropping in every day by airdrop. I can see a lot of fuel being hauled from the refineries that are, I don't know how many refineries are in Texas, but I know there's at least one, and it's massive. It would be interesting to see how New Brunswick's economy will actually potentially go up, because they have a refinery over there as well, which is right next door to Maine. So I don't know. I really don't know. Again, to me, this is, as I agree with it, with the talking points definition of this being a black swan event. So we'll see. It's still in the very early stages, and I figure we'll see something big enough by June. So, and of course, I fully expect that Ontario's economy is going to be hindered by this as well too. So we'll see. And maybe this will get the push through to actually have the Trans-Canada Pipeline go through Quebec for once. But that's something else completely unto itself. Those fucking frogs. Anyway, I got nothing more. Let's move on.
Oh, this next one is going to be very interesting here. Because I'm trying to remember, who's that rapper that almost had his career destroyed. He went on Alex Jones. He was associated with Candace Owens.
That could have been Ice Cube.
No. The guy who went on
Ice-T?
Alex Jones. No, not Ice-T.
That's all
Come
that I
on,
know of.
Kanye.
Kanye West.
Yay.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Sorry.
How the fuck can I forget that one?
Okay,
What
so
was just all I'm gonna say.
sorry, I don't know what it is. But ever since I went on this trip, I've been coming back. My brain has just not been functioning. I like remembering names has not been a good thing. Anyway, so what happened in this week was very strange, and I mean, as I did a little bit of digging into this, you know, there's a possibility that Jay-Z may also end up getting sucked into this, although Jay-Z has not yet been sucked into this. One of the curious things that suggests that he did two things on this. P. Diddy got arrested, by the way, that suggested that he's guilty. One is his tie-in with Epstein. That's one. Another thing that happened is that when people started doing videos on this, it turns out that the neighbor, when he was asked about the comings and goings from P. Diddy's residence, he talked about the number of women that were constantly coming and going from P. Diddy's mansion, which, like, I mean, again, right, that's given P. Diddy's lifestyle and his entourage and the way, and that whole, like, music star lifestyle, that probably in of itself wasn't going to be damning. But when you look at that and you look into, and then of course there's the fact that Kanye West said some stuff about P. Diddy when he was doing his run with Candace Owens on Alex Jones and whatever, and saying things about the rap industry. He when Kanye said some stuff about P. Diddy, which is very, very strange. Also, the fact that Cuba Gooding was also associated with P. Diddy, and Cuba Gooding got arrested on what amounts to sexual assault charges, and he was on P. Diddy's boat when this apparently happened. So now here's the really weird part about before I get into Cuba Gooding, here's some of the other stuff about P. Diddy that kind of suggests that there's a little bit more to this than you might want to think, right? He was in Miami. Both of these places got hit at the same time, and he was either he himself was trying to get to Antigua, or there was a plane that he owned that did take off and head to Antigua. Now, did that plane have incriminating evidence? I don't know. One of the things that did get posted up about this, and it got posted up by Candace Owens, is that they're gonna find the tapes. They're gonna find the tapes, and they're just gonna disappear into the black hole, same as Epstein, right? I don't want to bring race into this, because strangely enough, this is something that I'm going to be talking with. It's not about race, but about a certain individual that used to come on this show with V for a couple of episodes about 3 years ago. But I mean, one of the other things that has been thrown out and speculated about this, and this is something that cannot be just tossed out with as just a coincidence, especially given some of the stuff that we already talked about earlier tonight before V was here. Finding it some people have pointed out that they're finding it very peculiar that it is the African Americans who were potentially involved in sex trafficking that are potentially being thrown under the bus. And given what I know about, given some of the stuff that I know, I can't just dismiss that out of hand. But yeah, there's some very, and also here's the other thing that's happened with P. Diddy. And again, I'm starting to think this is not a coincidence. P. Diddy had been facing a mysteriously large number of sexual assault, like civil lawsuits in the past few months. Not only that, but there was, trying to remember who the hell was it, not Old Dirty Bastard, but there was that other guy, that other rap star that got sentenced to like decades in prison a few months back. I can't remember who that was. Again, my brain is just not working tonight for whatever reason. I know we didn't actually cover it because I didn't think that that it was didn't necessarily. I mean, I don't usually cover the music industry. I can't remember who the hell it was that got sentenced. V, can you help me out here? R. Kelly, that's his name. Sorry, R. Kelly.
I was about to say, there's R. Kelly. There's actually quite a few people. I mean, I've been watching Cat Williams come out and talk a lot about these people, especially Pete Hitler. Apparently, yeah. I mean, he offered Cat Williams $50 million to get into his manhole, apparently.
Whoa, that is a lot of money just to get
Four times. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an awful lot of money. I mean, that's a whole lot of money. But again, right? I got to also point out some stuff about P. Daddy. I mean, there's also JC. There's also he was also seeing Jennifer Lopez back in the 2000s, and they were actually fairly close. Apparently, they were even going to get married. How much did those two know about what was going on? Right? You know, there's a lot of stuff about this that is very incriminating. Again, I don't know enough about them. I don't follow the music industry very closely. Like I said, the only musician that we've covered very closely in the past few months was Kanye West. So, you know, I do, like, for instance, I actually got curious one day and I actually listened to a couple of podcasts about Suge Knight. And oh my God, man. He may not have been as big a creep as Harvey Weinstein. But I mean, he definitely got what was coming to him. I hope he's in jail, and I hope he fucking stays in jail, just like Harvey Weinstein. So yeah, that hold up. The music industry is just as bad as the film industry. That's really all I got to say about it. I'm not surprised. This is going to be ongoing. And again, Cuba Gooding Jr., like, he got arrested for sexual assault. He may have been drunk at the time because apparently he wasn't able to take no from this guy. And the fact that these guys all got arrested all at the same time suggests that there's some sort of coordination. The fact that there's lawsuits all coming down at the same time suggests that there probably is some coordination. And playing the race card on this, would psychopathic individuals do something like take the African American contingent of their organization and throw them under the bus as sacrificial lambs? Yeah, absolutely they would, because they're fucking psychopaths and sociopaths, and they absolutely would do that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, I just don't understand that whole realm. I do know that when you're used to getting everything you want, you kind of go outside the box and you go after the things that you can't have. Understandable to a certain degree. When it comes to other people, you can't just push your will on them. You have to give consent. It's a thing called rape. Yeah, sexual assault. These things still exist. Money will usually make it go away the first few times. But after that, you take that for granted. And you start, I don't know, I guess grabbing everybody's butts. I don't know what he's doing. Playing slap ass. Key and Peele style.
I don't know all the details either. I don't follow the music industry, but yeah, who
Literally, stop ass. Anyway.
Yeah, well, with him hot wifing and the male prostitutes, I mean,
wouldn't that be hot cucking? Just ask.
what was that?
Hot cucking or hot cocking? I don't know.
No, okay, so it's hot wifing.
Yeah,
Whenever you are there getting off on the fact that your woman is, you like it, you want it, you want to see it, you're excited.
Yeah, you get excited watching your wife getting treated like a slut.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that much I know. Or a piece of hot ass. I don't know. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so a cuck is not someone who's willing to actually go through that and are humiliated. But anyways, yeah, I mean, there was that whole thing about Usher, who allegedly gave herpes to 2 women. Apparently, he got that from P. Diddy. Allegedly. None of us can really know any of these things for sure, but, it's... I know, what's his name? Bieber. He is, like, seriously scarred. He is scarred. It's you can see the cracks. He talked about how he just basically got into drug addiction and just to cope and all that stuff. And no, apparently he's making a comeback, but just how long he had to hold on to that. As a kid being groomed and pressured into doing sexual stuff, I mean, yeah, I know that's the MO for the entertaining elite, but it's just, I don't know. People should not care about their careers so much. I mean, I'm not a materialistic guy. I'd rather not being poked in the butt than to having a lot of money and being poked in the butt. But, it's usually when these people get tired of their fame anyways. That's the only time they come out. But whatever allegations that they may have. But people need to do it a lot sooner. Much sooner. Anybody. I mean, it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. You cannot trust anybody these days. Not your uncle, not your brother, not the CPS, not the cops. Talking about the establishment, you're going to get raped at every freaking level, some way or another. Okay? Just say no. Scream. Got a rape whistle. Yeah? Blow on that damn thing. I don't know. I'm just messing around here. But no, I think it's time. It's time for Diddy to go down. I'm more concerned about the murders, because apparently he murdered some people. We have survivors of sexual assault. That's fine, you're a survivor, but there are people died at his venues. Well, what was that first thing? Where the glass panels, the glass doors of a building got crushed People got crushed in the doors, pushed through, and died. I don't think he ever saw it.
That was, I think, one of his first promotions that he did.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't ask me.
I don't think there was no consequences for him. Nothing.
Yeah, probably because he was part of the. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make my point here soon enough, but
no. Go ahead. I'm done. I'm just riffing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, looking back on everything that's happening here, Tupac's name is being brought up as that he was likely calling out Diddy and whoever else, and Sean Combs, combing, grooming, isn't that funny? Word on the street is, or the rumors are, at least anywhere, the speculation is that it was the diddler that had the hit piece done on Tupac. I don't know. Never listened to it. It was never my thing, and it never. And I don't think, and I know it really won't be. I know that Ice Cube has been quite vocal over the last several years, well, last few years, if not several, as basically, shall we say, the crab barrel version of what George Carlin has said numerous times, or well, has been played to the internet's forever. And when Carlin had basically said there's a club and you ain't in it, I'm firmly of the opinion that that's what Diddy's club is all about. I've listened to excerpts from numerous podcasts, and they talk about the price you have to pay to get into the music industry. And for guys, it comes down to is you go to a party, and once they've filtered you out to the point where you will sacrifice your dignity, shall we say, and where any guy can come up to you and massage that prostate as only a man can, shall we say. And this has been coined the phrase of the gay, of the gay mafia that's in the, and now it makes so much more sense if this is all true, which I believe it to be, allegedly. But there's the gay mafia in the rap and R&B, whatever, music industry. So, and Naruki, to kind of tie this back to the coincidences, this is not a direct part of all of this, but it's certainly connected. So, I am hoping, genuinely hoping, that this is going to go big. Although I have to say, it's kind of funny that this happened about the time that that bridge went down now, isn't it? But I'm sure that's a coincidence as well, too. So, the wonderful thing about actors with Cuba Gooding Jr. having been named into this, I mean, I've been all over the idea of Tom Hanks having been a morally irreprehensible individual, that I'm hoping the rumors of him having been given a one-way ticket to Gitmo, shall we say, is true. So, and that's when I came to the level of inner comprehension, I guess, is that expect to hear of a lot of celebrities that are going to be likely exposed for this kind of stuff. Now, who else is in this club? I can only guess. I've got suspicions. And overall, by and large, I'm trying to emotionally detach myself from individuals in one form or other that I've idolized. And I won't mince words with me saying it that way, because that's exactly what it is. Is that we've been groomed, we've been conditioned as a society to be worshiping the ground that these fucking people walk on. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Or was what it was. I have no idea. So for the time being, at least anyway, I am really, really curious to see who else gets dragged into all of this. Now, and again, I don't have the clip, but Michael Jackson had fully implicated a Sony music executive that was apparent, as hit by his words, not mine, by his words, was basically another kitty diddler. I don't remember his name, and right now I'm thankful that I don't remember his name. So, how pervasive is this? I don't know. Oh, and that reminds me as well, too, is that Alanis Morissette has been on record to say that the music industry is filled with pedophiles.
Well, I mean, Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill song, there's a couple of songs on there that she doesn't name the individuals, but the songs kind of suggest that she was dealing with, well, she did stuff that was similar to Taylor Swift, except Taylor Swift would just do the shit on a whim, and Alanis Morissette was a little bit more specific, and you had to actually do something to her. But yeah, no, Alanis Morissette, if you listen to Jagged Little Pill, there's a couple songs on there where she's singing about the last song, right? The last song on Jagged Little Pill is definitely directed at some type of a music executive, apparently. I'm going to point out something strange about Cuba Gooding. Cuba Gooding has had accusations tossed at him before. He's not married. His career, it was like he was like this bright flaming light, and then he just disappeared. Right? I strangely enough, if I was going to pursue, there's this one particular book that I want to make, that I wanted to do, turn into a movie, and it actually was supposed to be turned into a movie, but I've never heard anything about it. They did get apparently the interest of Eliza Dushku, the otherwise known as the anti-Buffy, to play the lady for it. But I mean, I thought Cuba Gooding would have made a very good one of the characters in that movie is a black guy who's actually a magic user, and he would have been the way the magic user behaves. Cuba Gooding would have been perfect for the part. I guess we'll never know. But no, Cuba Gooding just kind of disappeared all of a sudden. I'm not sure what Cuba Gooding's. I'm gonna have to go over IMDb and take a look and see what the fuck he's been doing. Because I mean, I haven't seen him in any major stuff in quite a while. At least I haven't seen him in any major cinematic release. I'm actually bringing it up right now here. You know, like it's like he was around and then he just wasn't, right? That's kind of like what happened. All right, let me just take a look here, see what he Cuba Gooding Jr. actor, yeah, his stuff. Okay, let me just, as an actor, he's got one as a director. Okay, his stuff as an actor. Hold on a second. Come on. There we go. He's got Nutty Hill. He's got a lot of credits as an actor. Just hold on a second. Let me just take a look. Okay. Yeah, he hasn't. Well, he was in Selma back in 2014. That was a bit of a, he was in Red Tails as well. So yeah, it's been about a decade since he's been in anything that was really that I would consider. He was an American Gangster. So I mean, but yeah, he hasn't been in what I would call a major release since 2014. Looks like he's been doing a lot of TV for the most part, but I mean, he's on the back end of his career, but he hasn't done anything since 2014. So yeah, it's not he's on the back end of his career. He's also getting up there in age too. So let's not get into any of the oh, look at that. He's number 7. Yeah, he's a year younger than me. Yeah, he hasn't done anything in a while. Yeah, no. Hall of Shame. He's number 7. So yeah, Cuba Gooding's apparently you do eventually run out of luck even in Hollywood, and that's really all I got to say. Does anybody have anything more to say on this particular topic?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, so let's get into the next topic, which is, of course, Sweet Baby Week 3. Now, before I continue on this, Sargon of Akkad, who is one of the... God. Okay, hold on a second here. Sargon of Akkad, who was one of the major players in the first Gamergate, actually came out with a commentary this week on the new Gamergate. And I mean, as much as I disagree, as much as it kind of upsets me, he was right. Gamergate, and this has been true for the woke left for a while. Gamergate was the first time that the woke left really specifically faced serious opposition that they couldn't just swat away. At least on a public level, there had been a bit of a fall. There had been a bit of a kerfuffle, a rather nasty fight in the atheist community that had occurred about less than a year earlier, which of course is how Sargon of Akkad got involved in Gamergate, involving the atheist community and Atheism Plus. Now, Sargon of Akkad basically said, it's like, yeah, we made our point. We prevented the gaming industry from being completely over. Like, I mean, basically, there is no cancel culture in the gaming industry. But his point, though, is that, yeah, we prevented the wokesters from overrunning the gaming industry. But I mean, we didn't stop Anita Sarkeesian. Jonathan McIntosh basically self-destructed. Zoe Quinn is still out there. In fact, there is a Zoe Quinn tie-in with Sweet Baby, as a matter of fact. Like, none of the major players involved in the first Gamergate on the woke side got taken down. Yes, they all, with the exception of Zoe Quinn, they all eventually self-destructed. And as we all well know, Kotaku, which was one of the big gaming publications back then, was actually the last one standing. They just got bought out recently, so they're not. So there's only a couple of small gaming journalist publications left at this point, and Gaming PC is the only one that actually kind of goes into that's actually pro Sweet Baby at this point. But yeah, what Sargon of Akkad basically said was that for all intents and purposes, yeah, we prevented them from overrunning the industry, but effectively what happened is that they won. Because if they hadn't won, or if they hadn't been completely beaten, Gamergate 2 would not have been, or basically what's happening with Sweet Baby would not have been necessary. And I have to just toss that out there because that's exactly what Sargon of Akkad said. Now, getting into what happened this week. Black Girl Gamer, which is basically another one of the companies that if you want money from DEI sources, BlackRock, Fleet Street, Vanguard, you have to hire one of these companies as consultants, which of course we all know what ended up happening there. The Black Girl Gamers has been clearly linked to anti-white racism. And, there was, how bad was it over at Black Girl Gamer? One of the developers over there, like literally, and I'm not kidding you. I actually saw the tweet. Because you would usually see people from like actual white supremacists say, oh, well, I'm not a bigot, I have a black friend. That's literally, I can't remember specifically who it was, but she was tied in with Black Girl Gamers. She says, oh, well, I've got white friends. I hired white people for music and whatever. And so basically she pulled the I got a white friend excuse to justify her racism. What they did, and this is typical because this also happened with the first Gamergate, they literally went out and they threatened lawsuits on everybody, which of course got the anti-Sweet Baby crowd laughing their asses off. And of course, to prove that they were actually serious, they went after somebody, but they went after somebody who was really small and didn't have the legal resources to fight back. But they haven't gone after anybody else. Except, of course, that what's going on is probably the anti-Sweet Baby crowd is going to raise a legal defense fund for this person. But yeah, and also, when they made that statement, they literally said, if you link up to this article, we will sue you. And they actually post up the link to the article that said that you're not supposed to link up to. So that's like literally like, so are they going to sue themselves now? So that's A. B, Irena Pereira over at Unleashed Games. She could have just stayed quiet about this, unfortunately, because we are in Gamergate Part 2 and we have Sweet Baby and Irene Pereira obviously lives in a bubble. They came out with a game. Unleashed came out with a game. Irene Pereira could have just released it quietly and not made any sound about it and might have been able to go under the radar. But no, Irene Pereira on her Twitter account posted up, there are no white characters in the game. And it was like, of course, the moment she did that, it immediately got attention. And she had to basically private her account. And like to quote a couple people that I saw on this, is sort of like, well, why did you do that? Like, why did you step out like that? You could have just released the game quietly, and you might have even been able to turn a profit if the game was decent. Now, nobody's going to care that the game is decent because you engaged in anti-white racism. Which gets me to the last topic, the last one on C, which is Xbox Executive Kelly Lombardi. Now, this one was just stunningly stupid. Kelly Lombardi tweeted, and then she deleted it when she got called out on it. Put your hand up if you're not white and you play in the gaming industry and you have to fight every day to prove that you exist. Here's a really interesting fact about the gaming community. The largest ethnic group that plays games are Asian males, not white males. So, yeah, she got absolutely owned on it. Yeah, she deleted the tweet and she privated her account. Unfortunately, she had already been called and caught. And of course, right, given the fact that both, in the case of both Irene Pereira and Kelly Lombardi, the demographics of the gaming community are readily available. Now, here's a couple, and I didn't put it in. It will go into 369 though. It's gotten so bad for the Sweet Baby crowd that they're actually all, because the mainstream media is being counteracted by the alt media, except for Daily Wire, and the mainstream media isn't able to sway opinions. So what they've started to do, and we will cover this probably more in 369 next week, is that the Sweet Baby crowd is like, and this is only happening after 3 weeks. They are already going to the government to ask them to help them out. And of course, there was also another, I'm not sure if I'm going to make this D or not. I might add this in as D. There was a gaming show in Britain. I can't remember who it was, but she literally and figuratively called for a purge of all the hateful, racist, misogynists, and basically deplorables in the gaming community, so that we could create a welcoming, progressive, and basically that whole left-wing utopia thing in the gaming community. And I might just add that in. I don't know who that was. I'll have to go take a look. But yeah, that is what happened with Sweet Baby in week 3. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, I don't know. As a gamer, I think it's this is something that's bound to happen. Okay, as a gamer myself, as a man of dark skin, I can't go into a gaming community that doesn't have mods and strict guidelines. There's no way I can get into a game that doesn't have just some a-holes. These a-holes are going to be racist.
So that happens in every community, right? But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It happens the most in the gaming community because we hide behind their anonymity. You know, Sausage Smoker 616. He doesn't think anybody's ever going to find him. Now, I love those stories where people actually do trace these trolls and show up at the house and kick the crap out of them. Those are good stories. However, the ones where nobody dies, of course. Yeah, I mean, and you're not exactly dealing with people that you think you're going to be professional anyways. It's not like you're going to your college website. No, you're freaking gaming, and you're an a-hole, and you're going to display the fact you're an a-hole. There's nothing you can do about people being a-holes. The only thing you can do is to censor yourself. You have to figure out where you want to be and where you don't want to be. Because, I mean, servers for these games eventually dry up, right? Games fall out of favor, no longer popular, so they're no longer supported, and they go away. So, that in itself will create the need to pay attention. What's popular, what's not, what kind of communities are they? How much money do people want to get out of it? Do they need to make it PC friendly? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just the great social experiment. I don't know who this chick is and what her real beef is, but there was bound to be someone like her, just because of everything that is. I don't know. I don't particularly get upset when I come across someone who's overtly racist. I will usually kick them out of my lobby, or boot them out of the game, or if I can't do any of those things, I'll just leave myself. You know, you got these people that hold on to this crap and just rage on each other until it escalates to the point to where they're hunting each other down in real life. You know, the gaming community is a place where I don't think anybody should be held to a standard. The only thing is the kids game and adult games. That's the only distinction we need to make. And again, they're features. They're features. You can mute people. You can individually mute people. You know, even their typing. You can bar them from all communications on that platform. Why there needs to be some political movement behind race involved in video games, it's a little silly. Because where's it going to stop? At that point, what? You're going to be no more violent video games? You know, they already tried that one, right? And they try to blame all the school shootings on the video games. They started doing that again. Yeah, exactly. So, no. Let's let these drama queens just do what they do. We don't have to pay attention to them, and we just live our lives. With that, I'm done. Go ahead, Urson.
Oh my God. You know, I wasn't kidding when I if I didn't say it before, I'll say it now. Sweet Baby Inc. is now the new case of herpes that just won't fucking go away. I do my best, honestly, to treat people as people. Does skin color affect me? Yeah, it does. But you know what? I'm at least admitting that I'm human. Now, again, I live in social housing. But unlike people on the left, at least anyway, I accept the responsibilities for the choices that I have made in my past to be where I am. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm headed on a different path in life very soon. And it's only myself at the end of the day that I have to be held accounted for or accountable to. There are other people as well, yes, but anybody reports on the racism, oh God. In terms of the first subtopic, that just is not surprising. They're doing their best to insulate themselves, and they can basically spout off at the mouth, not necessarily lie, but slander anybody that, well, I really don't see this as being, at the end of the day, really any different. Let's be honest, folks. Those within the men's rights, the MGTOW movement, whatever you want to call yourselves, the guys that are refusing to get married at the end of the day. How many, sorry about that, How many women do we see that go online, froth at the mouth, or modern women that are confronted on their bad behavior, and they, not to say that men don't, but I'm of the opinion that modern women, feminists especially, will tend to be, well, that's different because, like, either you accept responsibility for things that you have said or done, or you don't. And if you don't, that's fine. And I really honestly don't see that being any different than with, like I said, with subtopic A. All it's going to take is someone with a lot more money, a lot more funds, assets, liquid assets, to go, you know what? Yeah, I'm in the mood to take these bitches down. Why? Because they need to be. Don't know who it is. Sure as fuck isn't going to be me. Again, my last online game that I played was Old Republic, and I'm pretty sure that there was enough arm twisting from the likes of the company in question, not Black Gamer Girl, but Sweet Baby, because they have put on there that EA Games is one of their clients. Don't know how far back it goes, don't care, but again, unless the woman is extremely Mediterranean, women aren't supposed to have 5 o'clock shadow, and even then it's only supposed to be a little bit under the nose. And I should know. I had a grade 1 teacher, and she had a mustache. Although why her and the grade 6 teacher at the time, the gym teacher, were knocking boots, and he was married, and she got relocated elsewhere. Just gotta love the politics within the Catholic school system, but that's another story. I don't know. I don't care. No white characters in game. Oh my god. You know, if I was to explicitly develop a game, or I'm the one in charge of, I'm the owner of a modest gaming company, I put in there no black people. No naggers are in this game. And to overtly stamp it on there, I would be ratioed into the fucking ground. I would be called out. The problems I would have to go through to redeem the company, or better yet, I'd have to sell it to someone else, or whatever else the case may be. This is the typical opinion, in my view, that it's not racist if it's against white people. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's not racism. I have to go back to what my preferred word to all of this is. This is tribalism at its epitome. That's not to say I completely agree with it, but that's what the reality is. Hold on. Sorry, folks.
Sorry, are you done? Hello?
Interrupted. Yeah, no,
Oh, okay.
I was interrupted.
Okay, continue.
Yep. I'm sorry, but tribalism is tribalism. I have my preferences of females. Women have their preferences of males. Males have their preferences for females. And if you either swing for both sides of the plate, or you have your preference for the same sex, you know what, that's fine. Don't care. I really honestly don't care. Now, again, I don't play MMOs anymore. I don't do anything online. I'm happy playing, for example, MechWarrior 5 with my son. When I can get in touch with that Mad Marine, maybe we'll start playing MechWarrior 5 together again. Maybe not. I don't know. So what's going on here doesn't affect me. And from what I've seen of the games that my son plays, this doesn't affect him, at least not yet. Now, hopefully this insanity is going to be brought to light, it's going to be corrected, and it's going to be acknowledged, and hopefully things are going to be turned around for the better. I don't know. It's too hard to say at this point in time. But who was it? I think it was Morgan Freeman has been on record to basically say, look, if you want to deal with, quote, racism, then stop talking about it. Stop bringing it up. Stop addressing it. And once people start to address people equally based on their merit and their actual character, then things will start to go away. But these people, I'll just say BGG, Black Gamer Girl, or Black Girl Gamers, or whatever the fuck they are. It's individuals and it's organizations like that seem to be, that want to hold on to some semblance of power, which is holding society back. I've said this before to a former coworker of mine who happens to be Black, and they said, there's this Black woman attitude. And I don't think I'm wrong by saying it exactly that, because there is. There really is, but that's more of a MGTOW topic. And let's see, Kelly Lombardi gets on posting and debunking about racism in games. Well, you know what? That kind of goes hand in hand with it. How's the saying go? If you best to keep your mouth shut and someone to assume that you're an idiot rather than open it up to confirm it. I honestly don't know anything about that last topic, subtopic C, and I'll be honest, don't really care. Journalist calls for final solution of topic gamers immediately regrets it. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Go ahead. I know that gaming in Korea, and there's a gaming what the hell are they called? The CGUs, the Chinese, CDGs, Chinese gold diggers, where they would set up, pay us this much, and we'll give us your account, and you will have X amount of gold or whatever in-game currency. And that was in the heyday of World of Warcraft, sorry. There was a guy in Korea, well over a decade ago. He was in an internet cafe. He was just consuming energy drinks, and he died of exhaustion. And he was playing Warcraft for 10, 11 days, and he just finally collapsed, and that was it. So, if you want to target the white male gamers, sure, go ahead. Do it. Just like Palpatine would say, do it. I can guarantee you that, well, going back to subtopic B, if you specifically target an audience, and this is no different than what we have seen with, we don't want any white guys or any white males to be, or men for that matter, to go to our movies. And the movie bombs, and then the lack of male presence is blamed. I honestly don't see it being any different than that. And this journalist that's doing that sort of stupidity, go find another occupation. Be part of some political organization. I don't really fucking care what you're doing. Just go away. You've proven to be a useful idiot. And at the end of the day, don't blame me or anybody else for your overt stupidity. And if you're going to be picking a hill to die on, I would suggest that you pick something that's a little bit more common sense. I mean, while you're at it, why don't you just say that? Why don't you just call for the final solution of Trump supporters while you're at it? Because the way the way things are going right now, south of the Canadian border, you're going to have a whole lot of people that are going to be very unhappy with you, and not that they would want to lynch mob you, but I wouldn't bat a tear over your passing because you did something so fucking stupid. So, and that's all I'm going to say. Let's move on to number 5. Oh, good God. All right. I'm curious to see what this one's all about. So, Roki, back to you.
Oh yeah, I did some digging while you went on for a while here. Yeah, it's way worse than I thought. One of the big things that, and again, one of the big things that hello? Somebody's saying something.
So is this in regards to into topic 5 or just overall topic 4?
Topic 5. This is all topic 5. Okay, so yeah, the whole thing was just because I didn't want to go on anymore about Sweet Baby because we're probably going to have to do more Sweet Baby stuff next week. Yeah, we may. Sweet Baby is going to be on the radar for I think quite a while. We may even have to do a whole Sweet Baby episode at some point. But let's getting into what happened with Planet Fitness.
First off, there is a homeless man sleeping under the squat rack.
Okay, for one, he's not homeless, he's unhoused, can't cancel.
Over here the other day, there was a guy sniffing some sort of white powder off of the dip machine.
That's pre-workout, we've all done it.
Also, an older man ran into the women's bathroom, and then a little girl comes jetting out.
Okay, that does sound like a problem.
Thank you.
Sounds like she might be anti-trans.
What?
Is she about this tall? 5 years old?
She's tiny.
That's Alice. We'll put it in our records. And I'll add that she might be racist too.
Racist? You can't be racist at 5?
They start young these days. You'd be pretty surprised. Are we good?
What? No.
You want to cancel. Look, it's not an option. Look, C-A.
I'm looking.
I don't know how to spell cancel.
It's right here.
Okay, that's not right. It says no cancel.
What does that say?
No.
Yes.
Cancel.
Does.
Hey, brother, I just want to let you know you ran out of tampons in the men's restroom.
Men's restroom? Got it.
You're crazy.
Tootsie Roll.
Get your Tootsie Roll out of here. Bye.
Okay. That was close. Almost had to cancel.
Hi ladies, if you're looking to get in great shape, form healthy habits, and be victimized by sexual predators, then a Planet Fitness membership is right for you. Hi, I'm Planet Fitness spokesman Roger Moonblood. I'm a certified personal trainer, unregistered sex offender, and the general manager at your local Planet Fitness location. Or as what we sometimes like to call, your local predatory fitness location. Today, I'm literally going to share with you how Planet Fitness can help you reach your fitness goals better than any other gym. And I'll also share some things about Planet Fitness with you that you didn't know, but will probably surprise you and unnerve you. We're the only gym chain in the country that understands the key to getting in great shape is having diversity, unpredictability, and a predatory ethos in your women's locker room. Just imagine when you're finished working out, taking off your sweaty clothes, you can enjoy one of our cleanly state-of-the-art showers while having a man watch you. You'll also be glad to know that we've recently removed all the doors from the toilet stalls to make it easier for a man to watch you while you're taking a dump, which is more inclusive. Like, no other gym does that for you. Our progressive locker room policies have recently earned us a lot of national praise. In the name of inclusivity, we believe very strongly in women's rights and for the right for men to have them. That's what we proudly stand for here at Planet Fitness. So much so that if you're a woman and you don't like it, we will take away your right to use our facilities by canceling your membership and banning you. For women's rights. Just like a woman in Alaska learned the hard way recently when she reported a man for being in the women's restroom when there was a young girl present. What a bigoted woman. But our dedication to inclusivity doesn't stop there. In 2022, in New Jersey, another woman found out the hard way that reporting a man for being in the women's locker room who was repeatedly exposing himself to her was going to result in her membership being canceled. She lost her right to use the Planet Fitness facility, while the naked erect man who was exposing himself to her retained his women's rights to use Planet Fitness. And if you think that's impressive, there's more. In 2023, at a Planet Fitness location in Georgia, there was a man in the women's locker room repeatedly exposing himself to women, including a teenage girl. But our Planet Fitness staff, being dedicated to what's right, defended that man and said he had a right to be there. But unfortunately, the police didn't see it that way and they arrested him. The point is, at Planet Fitness, we are proud to say that you get a fitness experience shaped by our company-wide policies dedicated to putting you in jeopardy by creating a safe space for predators to do unsafe things to you. And it's exciting to know that you'll be getting better results because of it. How's that work? Well, what you might not know is when you're forced to share a women's locker room with sexual predators, your body goes under a fight or flight response. And with that, you get an elevated heart rate and breathing rate, which is the same as doing cardio. So in a sense, when your workout ends and the violation begins, your body continues to get a cardio workout for several hours or years depending on the level of trauma, thanks to our Planet Fitness policies. Other facts that you might not know about Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is the most body-positive gym chain in the world. With our members-only pizza parties and our policies against having squat racks and other forms of effective workout equipment in the gym, we aim to provide you a place to work out while discouraging you from working out. We know that using squat racks and barbells increase your risk of acquiring things like fitness, and that's not a risk that Planet Fitness is going to expose you to. In the name of our body positivity ethos, once your membership ends, we want you to look just as disgusting as the first day that you walked in our door. Because anything else would just literally be judgmental. Accordingly, we're known for having what are called lunk alarms, which is an alarm in the gym that goes off to warn you if someone is actually working out hard. And while we have lunk alarms, you'll be relieved to find out that we definitely don't have predator alarms. When you come to Planet Fitness, while you look out at a sea of obnoxiously purple workout equipment that can give you very little benefit, you'll also be delighted to know that Planet Fitness works hard to achieve a very impressive DEI score. One way that we achieve such good DEI fitness is by discriminating against white people, in that we make sure we intentionally hire less and less of them. That is racial discrimination, and here at Planet Fitness, we also do that. Proudly. There's no other gym that gives you more men in the women's locker room, a lower level of equipment, more discouragement from working out hard, more protection for pedophiles, and more discrimination in their hiring practices. What are you waiting for? It's time to jump on a treadmill and have a man expose himself to you so you can get your fitness back on track. So come join Planet Fitness today. Our plummeting stock value could really use it. And you'll be happy to find out that if you're a registered sex offender, then you're automatically a registered member here at Planet Fitness. Now I know what you're probably wondering. JP, do you have any pants on? Answer, kinda. But on to bigger problems. I don't know about you, but I have to do a lot of work on my computer and devices each day. But I used to find after my work sessions, I would be fatigued, low energy. And what I realized is we are all swimming in a sea of electromagnetic fields from our devices, our phones, our routers, our Wi-Fi, and I was doing nothing about it. But now I am doing something about it thanks to Bond Charge. Bond Charge is my favorite holistic wellness brand with evidence-based products that help you optimize your life in every way, including EMF protection. Now my workstation every day looks different. Here's how. I've always got my EMF radiation blocking laptop mat, Bond Charge harmonizing sticker on my phone, and the harmonizing bracelet on my body. What do those do, JP? Well, Bond Charge's EMF protection products have been shown to block up to 99% of EMFs. And I find it makes all the difference for me. Now when I get up from a work session, even though I've been sitting for a couple hours, I still have good, strong energy. And unfortunately, there's a lot of other brands out there with EMF products that unfortunately just don't work and are a waste of money. But Bond Charge is the longest running brand that I trust because they're evidence-based and I feel the difference. If you want to stop being helpless and unprotected in the sea of EMFs that you're living in, just go to bondcharge.com/JP. And while you're there, be sure to use the discount code JP to get 15% off all your EMF protection products and everything else that Bond Charge offers.
One of the big things that happened is that it looked initially like Planet Fitness was going to back down. And then what has happened is that people started looking at Anytime, and they started looking at LA Fitness, and they started looking at a lot. I don't know whether, I mean, keep in mind, not 24-hour. The gym that I belong to is just based in Canada. It's probably a fair Planet Fitness. Yeah. No, not Planet Fitness. What the hell's the name of the one that I belong to? I can't remember right off the top of my head here. I've got an app for
Gold
it, though.
Gym, Gold Gym.
No, it's not gold. It's not gold. It's not fucking gold. Gold Gym is one of those. Is one of those gyms where you have roid monsters. Same thing with Hardcore Gym. Hardcore Gym, which is the reason. Good Life. That's the one. That's the name of it. Hardcore Gym is also a place where you have roid mashers. Not a place that I'd really want to go to. The YWs, the YMs, and the Y gyms also. So yeah, as people start looking, all of the big corporate run gyms, and I don't know about Good Life because Good Life is straight up just Canada, but I'm going to have to assume that Good Life has the same policy. All of the corporate gyms are being exposed as having the exact same policy. It's just that they haven't been caught doing it yet, or it hasn't happened. Also, probably because Planet Fitness has just been I suspect there might be either A, pedophile, or B, a guy on the board, or maybe a couple people on the board who are potentially like closeted or something like that, or compromised to some degree. Planet Fitness is much more aggressive in practicing these policies as opposed to some of the others. I don't know about Gold Gym. Gold Gym hasn't been mentioned. Wouldn't surprise me, but Gold Gym is past its prime. That's one of the first things. The other thing is that Planet Fitness, if you want privacy, if you want a gym all to yourself right now, and you don't really give a shit about them allowing men into women's dressing rooms, you have apparently with some places you will have plenty of space now to go and work out at these gyms without interruption, because like the gyms it's clear that the gyms are emptying out. One of the other things that has happened with Planet Fitness is that Planet Fitness used to come up with a weekly summary of its revenue and its attendance, because I mean, again, Good Life and 24-hour fitness, both you need fobs to get into those gyms, and those fobs record who goes in and who goes out, so you can't really hide in those gyms. So it records the attendance, who goes in, who goes out, etc., etc., etc. So it's like, yeah, it's very difficult to hide numbers. But apparently Planet Fitness has stopped reporting the numbers. They continue to double down, and also reports, again, like I said, reports are coming out from other places of Planet Fitness engaging in this type of activity. And it's like V was talking about earlier. Yeah, if you have money, that money can insulate you from bad behavior for a while. It's beginning to become, because I mean, I've seen enough documentaries and I've seen enough times in real life where this happens, where, the money gets them out the first time, the money gets them out the second time, and they just keep going along like they're just going to continue to get away with it. And then all of a sudden, again, look at what happened with P. Diddy. Hold on a second. Look at what happened with P. Diddy. Suddenly the money doesn't work anymore, right? And you end up getting into trouble. And again, right, given the current environment, given what's happened with Bud Light, given what's happened with some of the other corporate, given the fact that Doritos immediately backed down, given the fact of what's going on with Sweet Baby and all of the gaming companies that are now desperately trying to stay off that list on that Discord server, because basically if they get on that list, or they have one of their executives come out being exposed as either a misandrist, a man-hater, or a racist bigot, like that kills the games. Like, I mean, going back to topic number 4, I mean, Irene Pereira, she had just stayed quiet. The game may have had a chance because of Irene Pereira and her saying what she said. That game's not going to go anywhere. I have curiously noted, and now that I'm going down that same thing with topic C, Kelly Lombardi, same sort of thing there, right? I mean, I've noticed that Xbox hasn't really come out with any smash hits in a while, even though I'm not a gamer. But getting back to the situation with Planet Fitness, right? Planet Fitness, they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and there are now enough corporations out there that are facing a backlash from doing it. Disney tops that list, and it's sort of like, yeah, oopsie, yeah, let's just go quiet, or let's just kind of quietly reverse the policies and not say anything. But nope. They have to double down. And the reason why these corporations keep doubling down is because because of ESG, because of DEI, because if they don't double down, their score is going to go down. And basically, while there is no social credit score for people in the West right now, there is a social credit score for corporations. And if corporations don't toe the line, their access to funding from a lot of sources is, and that's the thing, right? Like Larry Fink sends out a letter to every single CEO of every major company on the planet saying that if you want access to our money, this is what you have to do. That includes Planet Fitness, right? If Planet Fitness wants to expand, right, they need to borrow money to make that expansion happen. Larry Fink has his hand on the spigot. So you have to do things the BlackRock way. You have to have an ESG score. You have to have a DEI score. And again, right, this is starting to come to an end because now it's been exposed. And there's going to be, and this is probably going to happen in the next year or two, there's going to be an alt funding source that's not going to be connected with BlackRock. And oh, by the way, folks, BlackRock, Fleet Street, and Vanguard are not, they also, and this is what makes them so powerful, is that they don't just have access to, they haven't just teamed up with the banks to cut access to people who will play along. The money supply for the government and Fed, they put, and this is, by the way, during the Obama administration, so this is something you can't blame on either Trump or on Biden. Obama put Larry Fink in charge of the government funding supply, so you can't go that way either. So you can't get public money to fund anything with the corporation unless you toe the line too. Hopefully, I'm not fully on board with Team Trump, but I'm hoping that if Trump wins, that Trump does something about this. But again, right, almost certain that there's probably at least one or two members of the board, and there's probably a couple of major stockholders that are hammering on the corporate headquarters for Planet Fitness and going, what the fuck are you doing? And they're ignoring these individuals because again, there's somebody inside Planet Fitness that has a vested interest in things staying the way they are for the message, and because it cuts off access to external funding if the Planet Fitness wants to do anything more. The only problem is now is that, I mean, if they get exposed, which they have been, you know, it's gotten to the point now where they can't just double down and assume that BlackRock and Vanguard and Fleet Street and that whole black money organization that's desperately been trying to sit in the background is going to have your back when they are running out of money too, and they don't necessarily have everybody's back. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, so, oh man, so this is, I don't know if I have anything to add to this one. This one's, I'm trying to frantically get to a charger. And my Skype is not wanting to cooperate with me here. Give me a second.
I'm just going to quickly step in to basically say I've looked it up. BlackRock, Vanguard, and whoever SRS investment is. We're looking at 13.7, 9.4, no, 9.5, 8. So 13, 22. So about 31% is owned by, well, shall we say over 25% has Vanguard and BlackRock's fingerprints all over that. So I'm not going to say anymore.
It's about 30%. You're talking with the big three, but I mean, you're talking with just Vanguard and BlackRock. You're talking 22%, 23%.
Yeah, so I'm just glad. You know what? The Planet Fitness is one of those places that they deserve what they're getting right now. The predatory practices that they have, you gotta actually, with your account, with your, I guess, contract, agreement, whatever, you can sign up so easily. But as far as trying to disconnect, you basically have to cancel your credit card, because they won't cancel your account. They won't stop drawing money from your bank account. All because they just don't want to do it. To unsubscribe, it's so much work. It's so much work. You can't just walk in and say, hey, I want my account canceled. No, you got to go to the website. And then there's a certain waiting period. If you didn't make it within that period, well, guess what? You just pay for another month. Oh, then to cancel your contract, you got to pay money. Wait. I barely go to the gym. When I was going to the gym, once every 2 weeks. You're really gonna hassle me and try to shake me down for $40 a month? Really? And as a matter of fact, my little woman, she had a membership, right? And COVID hit. You think she could have done anything about that? I mean, they got a lot of free money. Nobody's coming in. A lot of people not knowing how to cancel their contracts. Some people forgetting that they have a gym membership to worry about. And, that's 3, 6 months, a year, maybe, that you didn't catch up, or you didn't even remember or to think about it. These gym owners, they made out pretty when COVID hit. I'm not lying to you. Yeah, so I mean, aren't these places just becoming cesspools of vain women who want to catch a guy looking at them and claim sexual harassment all day, make these stupid videos? Is that still going on?
Yeah, that is still going on. There's one guy on Twitter who is calling it out on a regular basis. I can't remember specifically his name at this point, but yeah, it's getting. Well, I mean, we covered. I don't know whether you were there. We covered that. It's gone from just being in gyms now to where we were talking about this. I think it was 2 weeks ago, where they had that one woman who tried to set up that guy in a big box store. It turned out that the guy was gay.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's what it do, man. That's all I got to add. Go ahead, Rick.
You're up.
Well, again, having posted up here 13.7, 9.45% of shares are owned by BlackRock and Vanguard, respectively, and I have no idea who SRS Investment Management is. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they are part of the club. That, to me, that just screams of the behavior that we have brought up time and time and time again in terms of corporations or the woke companies. And I completely and fully agree with V. If you're going to choose to go down this road, and Vanguard has been on record to basically say they're realizing that their tactic, their preference, their strategy, whatever you want to call it, isn't working, and they're rethinking it. Well, BlackRock might be rethinking it, but these companies that are leading the charge into the wokeness and the brokeness aren't fucking stopping. At this point right now, I'm glad I'm not an American. Well, would I want to be an American citizen compared to being a Canadian citizen? Yeah, I would. But that would definitely be, I don't know what it is that I want in terms of my overall fitness. I'd like to be trim and more defined, and I don't necessarily need bulk. I just want strength. But I'm more interested in martial arts than I am with outright just pumping iron. Although maybe if Irene is nice to look at, wouldn't mind be pumping her, but that's another story. So in terms of all of this with Planet Fitness and their ilk, just keep doing what you're doing. Bud Light learned the hard way. Doritos in Spain very quickly learned the hard way. Gillette and whatever other commercials, whatever other big brands that are out there that have done the same damn thing. Black Rifle Coffee, I think, is one that's been brought up before. They seem to have gone they seem to be on the woke bandwagon. That's probably just because of the requirements and responsibilities for them that they had to make a decision at the time to stay afloat.
That's one of the things that finally got people to pay attention to BlackRock. You would have all these companies that would be opposing these these anti-woke values, and they would get to a certain point, and then suddenly there was a razor company that did this too, and they were noticing this happen time and time and time and time again, and people started looking, and it was like the connection was BlackRock. Continue.
Yeah. So honestly, just let them do what they're going to do. I care, but I don't care that much. Like I said, BlackRock is realizing that, well, shit. You've gotten called out. You've been caught with your hand Not in the cookie jar, but let's call it for what it is. Your hand in the nookie jar. Because you're fucking around. And it's starting to get to the point now. I mean, the pendulum is swinging in the other direction of the consumers. But for companies like Planet Fitness, they're fucking around and they're going to find out. So I wish them well. I'm hoping that Vanguard is happy with in one form or another, in one way or another, destroying another corporate brand. So the scorched earth policy, shall we say, with what Russia has had to do on 3 occasions, actually. Had to do that with the Swedish army, with Carl Gustav. There was Napoleon, and then with Nazi Germany. And that's basically what's happening here, is that we might be retreating, but as we're retreating, we're burning our memberships. Disney has been on the receiving end as well too, and consumers are winning. It's just that it's taking a while, and then we have to go through all of this. Yeah, I was looking at that one. It's that one started off with Daphne Rosin, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I was like, yeah, there's a couple of them that were a bit of stuff. I didn't know Jaden James was on there, but continue.
Most of them I didn't know. I'm surprised that disappointed Brandy Love's not on that list. But anyway.
Daphne Rosen's got Jewbs, because that was that we were discussing with Abby Shapiro, Ben Shapiro's sister. Sorry, you missed that, V. Continue on, Rierson.
We're just guys being guys. We don't care about tits as long as they're nice to look at, and I really don't care what your well, no, to a certain point, I do care about your religious affiliation if it doesn't impose or have negative attitudes towards other people that are not of their faith. Anyway, no, I got nothing more to say on this one. Just let them keep self-destructing. I don't give a shit. And as more brands become exposed for being woke, again, gaming or otherwise, well, you reap what you sow. Don't fucking complain to me, princess, because you fucking got caught. So, let's move on.
I will say this about Jewish women. They're definitely curvy as fuck. Yeah.
They look good now, but how are they going to be later on? Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, well, let's get on with the next topic here. So, yeah, this one. Oh, yeah. I am going to enjoy this one. Every once in a while, somebody just gets their comeuppance to them, and this is one of those.
Invadir una casa en United States, ya que me enteré que existe una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla. Capichi, muchachos, aquí en United States también se aplica la de invasión de terreno. Y creo que ese será mi próximo negocio. Invadir casas abandonadas. Ya que me he buscado unos códigos con mis amigos africanos. Y me dijeron que ya llevan como 7 casas expropiadas. Y como dice el dicho, papi, hay que buscar la vuelta. Y la vuelta ahorita mismo es invadir casas, ya que nos encontramos en situación de calle y es la única manera que tenemos para no vivir en la calle y no ser una carga pública. Capichi, la ley dice que las casas abandonadas, deterioradas y que esté en mal estado, podemos llegar y repararlas vivir en ella y si podemos venderla, hasta pedir créditos con ella. ¿Qué dicen ustedes?
A so-called migrant influencer who advises other migrants on getting into the U.S. and taking advantage of the system is now reportedly on the run from immigration officials. Leonel Moreno became known for his TikTok videos explaining how to squat in U.S. homes, get money from the U.S. government, and evade U.S. authorities. He crossed the border illegally in 2022 in Eagle Pass, Texas, and was enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. But officials say he failed to follow the rules, and he's now in hiding. News Nation's Allie Bradley joins us live. Allie, do authorities have any idea where he could be?
Yeah, so right now they're trying to figure that out, right? Because this Venezuelan migrant, Leonel Moreno, who you're talking about there, he went viral after he was sharing about how he got all this free money from America. And then he was guiding these so-called newcomers on how to actually squat and take advantage of living in people's homes, doing it under our laws. Take a listen here.
I learned that there's a law that says if a house is not inhabited, we can take it. Here in the United States, terrain deformation also applies, and I think that will be my next business: invade abandoned houses.
Okay, so that was Leonel Moreno, who is being called the migrant influencer. He had never showed up to his initial check-in with ICE after he crossed into the country illegally in April of 2022 into Eagle Pass. He was paroled in back then. Then when he was initially processed, he was placed into the Alternatives to Detention program. He was given a cell phone as a tracking device. But because he didn't follow the rules, DHS sources say he is now listed as a pre-order absconder, somebody who is running away. And he was terminated from the ATD program and has a notice to appear in Florida in court in February of 2025. But here's the thing. Moreno has been quite the hard man to track down. The address he initially provided was for Catholic Charities in Miami, but now sources say he has a possible address listed in Ohio. Now check this out. Speaking of Ohio, this guy, he continues to take advantage of the system as well, and the gaps in the intel that we're seeing that the FBI director has talked about. What law enforcement in Butler County say is a massive smack in the face. Look at this guy. It's all the same man. He has been in Sheriff Jones's jail in Butler County, Ohio, 11 times. He used 7 different names, 3 different dates of birth, and according to the sheriff, has been deported 8 times. Yet 46-year-old Furman Garcia Gutierrez just keeps coming back. And obviously he's having success until he does something illegal. This time around, possession of drugs and weapons while intoxicated and obstructing. Now, the sheriff was just holding a news conference here, Nicole. He was talking about since 2021, they have arrested nearly 1,000 immigrants that they've had in their jail that had ICE detainers on them, Nicole. They're saying that it is a problem, calling every state a border state, Nicole.
Yeah, certainly very frustrating.
Individuals. So this guy by the name of Lionel Moreno got into the United States illegally, had a TikTok channel, and he was actually making a fairly decent income. Like, he had a fairly significant following on TikTok, but what he was doing is that he was like basically telling other illegal immigrants on how to break the law, how to squat in houses, how to game the system, how to, basically how to be an illegal immigrant in the United States and break the law. Now, he was literally so full of himself, probably because he had all that nice, juicy TikTok money coming in. Because, there's multiple photos of him with handfuls of $100 bills. So, he was not hurting for cash. But what ended up happening is that he got, he wasn't even smart enough to hide his face. So, he actually went to one of these organizations that protects illegal aliens, and he was going to go through his review and whatever and try to stay in, and he just skipped the program, probably because he was making really good money. And I mean, like, he was making really good money on TikTok, right? And a lot of his videos were about how to game the system. Well, somebody eventually discovered, again, that's the thing about libs of TikTok, who I think were the first people that exposed this guy. Somebody went to libs of TikTok and sent this guy the information. And of course, Chayarachik immediately posted up what this guy was doing. And of course, once you're a woke teacher or some unhinged leftist and you're engaging in some insane activity and you post it up as a short on TikTok, like, and it gets sent to Chayarachik and it gets their attention, basically your ass is grass, your goose is fucking cooked. And I don't mean that. So yeah, it got around. It got around to the point where the press secretary in the White House was actually asked about this guy. Now, the moment that happened, right? I mean, Karine Jean-Pierre's a fucking idiot, but she's not that much of a fucking idiot. She went back. She saw what was going on. This guy's TikTok account got shut down immediately. ICE got this poor guy's ass. His ass is now sitting in an ICE facility, and his sorry ass is going to get assuming he doesn't get charged criminally, which is also a possibility. But his ass, he's going back to Venezuela. At the very least, he's gonna get. I personally hope what they do is they just slow the plane down long enough to uncuff him and kick him up the back of the airplane and then fly off again. That's what I'm personally hoping that they do. Because, I mean, this guy got caught and he's like crying and playing the victim after he got in trouble. And it was like, dude, you were making videos telling people to go and squat in houses that other people own and telling them how to do it and how to game the system legally to get money out of the U.S. government. That's what you were doing. And you don't get to go and cry on camera with snot boogers coming out your nose as you're doing it, being the victim, when you were it's very clear. I mean, there's multiple videos of this guy doing this, right? And yep, he got caught. He's sitting in a nice facility. His sorry ass is going to get deported back to Venezuela. Now, is he going to be stupid enough to come up here and try it again? He might. He certainly got the financial resources to do it, but his 15 minutes are up. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, it takes all kinds. It really does. Squat in American homes. I'm not quite sure if illegals can get squatters' rights. Can they? I think that's like for like American citizens.
Depending on the state, I know that in New York City they can have firearms.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that too. Government giving firearms to the illegals, but that's actually not quite so true.
Or what they can vote, or at least
what they can get is hunting rifles, not handguns,
firearms. Firearms are firearm.
Well, hunting rifles. So apparently, you cannot have your rights taken for hunting. I mean, I know the government makes a lot of money off of that, hunting licenses and giving people fines for whatever infractions they may I collect while they're out. But yeah, no. I'm not quite sure squatting is a thing. And where does that leave you whenever you, let's say you have a guest house on the property, you're on your property, let's say you're armed, You walk into your guest house and there are people there. Can you get away with shooting them? Because technically they've broken in and entered, but if they've been there some time, then they have somehow developed rights. So that's actually what I would like to know. Where's the fine line? Because you're going to have some people in Texas find somebody in their barn, blow them away, and then what?
If I may say, depending upon what county you're in, because I know somewhere in Florida, I don't remember which one it is. The sheriff has basically said, if someone's breaking into your home and you've got a gun, yeah, shoot them. It'll save us the trouble. And if you're not sure about all of that, you can talk to us afterwards. And if you really need help with making sure that you're an accurate shot, we've got classes for people to come every other Saturday. That's the county I would love to live in. That's the county anywhere in America I would love to live in. So in one form or another, it's the gun culture is becoming quite interesting. So I'll let you kind of stew on that one for a little bit. I'll let you get back to your points. Unless you're done. I'm guessing judging by your silence that you are done. Okay. I didn't know anything about this guy.
V, are you there? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know anything about this guy except that I didn't like what the whole thing was all about and how to squat and whatever else. Okay, I will have to agree with you on this with a sense of, shall we say, Russian justice. Someone like this needs to be roughed up, and if he doesn't make it back to Venezuela, I think that would be one great. I think this would be a funny example of coincidences as to what happened or how things might have gone through. Now, there's the one picture that he's got of his daughter, but as far as I'm concerned, it's because you have a kid, and if that kid was born here, I'm sorry, but you go back with your parents, and if you want your citizenship, then you have to apply for that, and you have to apply when you're 18 or whatever. Yeah, say 18, maybe 19, whatever the case may be. It's no fault of the child, but the parents are doing something they know that they shouldn't, but they're acting as complete asshole opportunists only because the system's been gamed for them to come in. And let's be honest, this guy is military age. I don't think he would work very well within the military. He probably would get run out because I don't think he's all that. Well, I don't think he has what it takes to be in the military. Now, I can't say because I've never been in it, but I think that I think he would get broken. So I'm a little offended of sorts with that thing on his hoodie. It kind of looks like a rendition of Odin, or what could be described what I would see as being something that's Norse or Celtic based, and he sure as fuck doesn't look like he's from either gene pool, shall we say. He did also have something about Canada as well too. El Frio Rumbo and Canada. I don't know what the fuck that one's all about, but yeah, I hope he doesn't make it back alive. I make no apologies by saying that. I really do. It would be, quote, unfortunate, but I wouldn't bat an eyelash, and I certainly wouldn't cry over him not making it. So, see ya. Certainly don't want to be ya. And it's people like you that are parasites for any society. And I'm hoping that he is dealt, I'm hoping he is given as minimal humane treatment as possible. If you're going to be pulling this shit, okay, fine, great. You can talk the talk, but I know you will be able to walk the walk. And if he does come back, I wouldn't be sorry that law enforcement just becomes more vigilante. Someone has more of a vigilante attitude towards them. So, and that's all I got on this one. Idiot. Fucking idiot. Back to you,
No, I mean, this guy represented everything that was wrong with
Venezuela.
With not just Venezuela, but like the whole system. And I mean, again, right? Once you come to the attention of the government, once your name, I mean, this guy was so full of himself that he literally, like, I mean, it was so, I mean, had all that money, and he was like, you know, he didn't even have enough brains to put together. Well, no, they don't like it in Venezuela when you squat in somebody's house, right? I guess it's going to be okay if we do it here in in the United States. And it's like, well, no. I'm having to imagine that even in Venezuela, you know, they don't want people squatting in houses that they already own, right? In fact, if you did that in Venezuela, you probably, like, vigilante justice is a thing in South America, right? Solutions beyond just legal are applied in South America. Like, one of the reasons why you very rarely, especially after Pablo Escobar, one of the reasons why you have not seen a new Pablo Escobar come out of South America is because, you know, there's an unofficial policy that I think that has been worked out between the State Department and most of the Latin American countries, that if they get a drug importer that gets a little bit too big for their britches and starts getting his own private territory and starts making his own personal little empire and starts to challenge the status quo, there's a strike team in each given country that will go in, and this person will find themselves with multiple holes in their head. Right? So, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they sent this guy down to Venezuela and this guy ends up dead. I mean, yeah, he probably has a fair amount of money on him now. So, I mean, he could probably set himself up quite well, and live quite well in Venezuela for a while and maybe even develop a business. But I mean, it's, you know, this guy obviously didn't fluke out. And
requires work.
Yeah. And
that requires work. And I don't see it happening with his attitude and gaming the system. No, he doesn't have, my apologies for stepping here, but he doesn't have the cojones to actually be legitimate in any way, shape, or form. But I could be wrong.
He's gonna end up dead at some point. But anyway, let's get on with the last topic, and this one is rather interesting. And again, I am going to point out here that, again, it is becoming fairly obvious that YouTube is setting, and both Facebook and YouTube and Facebook both are starting, because I mean, I'm noticing that the censorship at YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram is suddenly ramping up again. Like, and what I've noticed is that the censorship is specifically YouTube has come out with a new system. And and I swear to God, this is actually a real thing. If you come out with a deep fake or a meme and it gets spotted by the YouTube algorithm, you have to label it as such on your video. No, I am not lying about that. That is exactly what's happened. And speculation is that as you get closer and closer and closer to the actual election, this labeling is going to basically result in deep boosting, and the rules are going to be written so vaguely. And of course, they're finding out now when they start talking to the people who do the monitoring of Facebook, of YouTube accounts in India, is that they are rewarded for being overzealous in their bannings, but if they get underreported, they actually face fines. So this is like what this whole thing is basically, this is a way, again, because if there's a fucking, I hate to say it, but there's like, I mean, as bad as President Trump got it, I mean, Joe Biden is the meme gift, and Kamala Harris too. I mean, the vice president has always been a target, but I mean, Kamala, I mean, they're the gift that just keeps giving, right? And with deep fakes and everything, it's like, I mean, everybody, like, I mean, it's fairly obvious, right, that it's with somebody doing a parody, it's obvious that they know about it, but they've been trying to do everything in their power to try to limit the effect of memes for years now, so they can't get rid of them. So what they're going to do first is they're going to label them, and it wouldn't surprise. And again, speculation is that you get closer to the election, they're just going to they're going to deboost, and at some point they're going to start just blocking memes out altogether. And of course, it's only going to apply to one side of the political aisle. And I think we both know which side that's going to be. And don't get me wrong, I am not Team Trump. I'm definitely not Team Biden, but I'm not Team Trump either. And, but I mean, it's fairly obvious where this is going. And again, YouTube is in serious trouble. Google, again, I've said this a couple times, I'm going to say it again. Google is a year or two away from being in the same position that Disney is currently in. And, it wouldn't surprise me at some point in the next 3 or 4 years that the whole Google search engine, the Google Chrome search engine, is gone and replaced with somebody else. Hopefully not DuckDuckGo, because that company is also surprised. At least they don't censor. They don't bury content on DuckDuckGo like they do on Google. But I mean, yeah, DuckDuckGo has been outed as being fairly woke as well. Again, I haven't completely switched over from Google over to Brave or DuckDuck. Well, actually, I am on DuckDuckGo. Like, there's still a couple of things where a Google search is better. Like, for instance, a Google image search is still pretty good, although DuckDuckGo is rapidly catching up. But yeah, they have basically got to the point now where if you have a meme on your YouTube video, you have to label it. Now, the other one I want to talk about here is the fact that, and again, this is a law enforcement kind of thing. There was somebody, and this has happened. You get people who run crypto scams, and what they do is they will hijack a large channel, and they will change the password on said channel, and then they will turn it into a crypto channel for a bit until somebody realizes that they've lost their channel, and they report it to YouTube, and it takes a while to get the channel gets shut down, or it gets handed back over. Now, law enforcement has gotten involved in that, and something like that happened to a channel, And what they did is they set up some dummy channels and they recorded the people who were watching and the people who took advantage of the links and so on and so forth. But what YouTube did is they took it a step further, and what they did is they handed over the information, the contact information for every single person that watched said videos. Let me say that to you again. If you watch a video that, in this case, it was over a dirty scam that is simply a half step away from YouTube turning over. Yes, you watched this particular. Yes, you watched Andrew Tate. Yes, you were a regular viewer of Stefan Molyneux. Yes, you were a viewer of this person, this known person, right? Yes, you basically, right? YouTube is like, you're only a half step away from that, right? And again, is YouTube going to survive another 5 years? That is really in doubt at this point. Rumble is coming on strong. Rumble doesn't play the game. Yeah, they've made some shots to try to get Rumble to toe the line, but I think they have run out of time to get Rumble and Twitter to toe the line on this next election. What I mean, but they're going ahead with this stuff anyway. And we all know where it's leading. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties, so I'm going to go ahead and bow out. Thank you for letting me be on the show.
I need to speak to you about something at the off the.
Okay, just hit me up later.
I'll call you when the show's over. Okay, thanks.
All right,
bye.
Thanks.
Okay, Rearson, take us out. Rearson, take us out.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just switching over to my phone right now. You know, if this isn't an indication for the power from the powers that be, the puppet masters, whatever you want to fucking call them, the Rothschilds or whoever else, that the not just the American economy, but the economic system that we're in is we're going into a massive, what did Trump say? Recession? No, a depression will be mild. Will be a very mild way to put it. I'm going to tie this a little bit back to the bridge in Baltimore having that quote accident. Between cryptocurrency, and I've said this to our mutual friend, between cryptocurrency and likely the right one, which one that is, I have my suspicions, but I can't say with any certainty. Or gold and or silver, one in the hand than two in the bush, is there's no other way to say it, in my honest opinion. There was the saying of the greatest wealth transfer. It started with COVID, and they're not done yet, and they're trying to. Cryptocurrency, making that a taboo subject on YouTube is going to be a lot easier than it would be to talk about or to ban people that are talking about silver, for example, precious metals. There's already enough of a following in one form or another. And I can imagine that if silver, Mike Maloney's company, if his account basically was brought ground to a halt because he's always talking about precious metals, that alone would send shockwaves. And if that happened to him, I could see Robert Kiyosaki jumping on the bandwagon as well too, because he's in that camp enough, to say the least, that the reverberations, the waves, the ripple effect that would come from that would almost know no bounds. So, and because the general public is, and I was part of that crowd, I'm much more aware now than I have been before. But the cryptocurrency videos are easier to target because most people don't know anything about it. They don't know how it works, or they don't trust it because someone could could hack in and take your wallet, which is the argument that our mutual friend has had with me about my recommendation for him to start to divest himself out of the banking system because it's going to fail. And this is why that I am happy that I'm getting my voluntary severance package, because I'm looking at two or three non-Bitcoin and non-Ethereum currencies to buy into, and to look at trying to actively trade against Bitcoin if it's possible, whatever the case may be, and to actually start to make an income out of it. There's other things I'm going to be looking at as well, but I'm not going to go into that right now. Actually, I probably won't get into that, but we can talk about it later on, maybe face to face. So in a way, this actually really, really excites me, because you have to look at what's being done, and then you have to dive into why would this be a problem for them. And this requires some critical thinking. And not necessarily present company excluded, present company excluded, most people won't make the connection as to what's going on. I make no apologies for being mildly paranoid. I make no apologies for being rather contrarian to what the news has been portrayed. It's like, no, there's no problem with the economy. Bullshit, there is. Inflation's not a problem. Well, yes, it is. Have we hit Weimar Germany's level of inflation, or what happened with Zimbabwe, for example, or Argentina, or other places that have had to print money into oblivion where it's worthless, where you have to walk around with wheelbarrows of cash, and more often than not, it's better used for keeping your place warm at night or cooking a meal with than it is of any actual monetary value, which is useless. So if you can be contrarian and you're happy to not necessarily verbally call out or to basically do the opposite of what they're saying or to look into it, I think that you're better off to question what's going on. And maybe to see a friend soon enough, a financial advisor, and I need to look into consider putting my retirement that I'm going to have with my current employer and previous employer. I want to look into putting that into a retirement vehicle that's an ETF for cryptocurrency. So I don't know yet, but we'll see. But I have to talk to them about that soon enough. So folks, do the opposite of what they're telling you if you're not already in that crowd. If it looks suspicious, try to do your research and come up with some ideas to what's going on. And I'm following my gut, and my gut's telling me to put at least a couple of thousand into both physical silver and crypto and work with it and make it and do my best to trade on it. So, and that's all I got. I am done.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for listening tonight. I have to get V back on the phone here. But that is it for the show tonight. We will see you all on 369 later on this week. But thank you very much. Just remember, Patreon as Naroki5. And of course, YouTube. Well, actually, I use YouTube just for posting up elsewhere. But BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, MGTOW TV, Brighteon, Facebook, Minds, Gab, MeWe, Getter, and that is pretty much it. Thank you very much